week. Everybody, we are back. You guys know what it is. It's Taped Online's favorites, podcast favorites, channel favorites, everything. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at Glen Rockney for Glen, and then of course pandasups.com, discount code TDL. All right, guys. So we're doing a 4-round mock draft today. We did 3 rounds the first time. We're going 4. We might go 5 or 6 the next time. But you know,
I will make up my round 6 pick. It might not even be a real person. If round 6, I don't do round 6. So if you want to do it, I will make up it'll be like third party write-in candidates in the election. Yeah, if I do that.
Yeah, man. So other things that happened besides the mock draft, though, we had free agency going. Christian Wilkins is on the team, Gardner Minshew. Really nothing besides that. There's Harrison Bryant, which nobody wants to really. Does anybody want a Harrison Bryant breakdown? I could do that if everybody wanted. I got Gardner Minshew versus Cleveland on the members channel. If you're members, you probably watch that. But that's probably the 2 biggest signings we got so far. Everybody's calling you Minshew. So we got Minshew on the show tonight.
Dude, it is crazy. Because when they signed him, like my wife doesn't think I look like him, but my mom was like, "I thought you were at the Raiders headquarters," and and that's why I posted that thing. Like, shout out to the Raiders, thanks for letting me come through and do a tour, dude. The goal part is he was wearing like the Costco Kirkland signature, kind of crew neck sweatshirt. I have that in that color, so I was wearing that at the time. I was like, dude, this is wild. So I don't know, man. Like, I might start showing up in Vegas and getting meals comped.
You might, man. You might be able to do it, bro. I think you're taller than him, aren't you, too?
I'm 6 even. He's old. He's got to be bigger than me. He has to be bigger than me.
I think he might be 5'11", bro. I think you might be able to pass it. I really do.
I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna be like, just get out of here, dude. Like, come on. I'm Gardner Minshew. Excuse me, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you going to Minshew? Yeah, man. Yeah. Here's some free seats.
Get this guy out of here. Who is this guy? Yeah.
Oh man. So but yeah, those are the signings. I mean, there really has only been 3 signings. Raiders haven't been that active. I think they're going to be trying to look for a corner here soon. But let's talk about the signings first before you get into the mock draft. I know me and Matt kind of covered that a little bit, but Gardner Minshew wasn't signed yet. I don't believe. When we talked about that, maybe, I'm not sure. But we got Christian Wilkins and Gardner Minshew, Harrison Bryant. I see somebody said he's a beast, but yeah, he's probably a little bit of a back-end tight end. Good player. I thought he was a good player coming out. But what are your thoughts on some of it?
Look, there's obvious. I love the Wilkins signing. I mean, I didn't think they'd be able to do it. I thought they would be getting the second-tier guys like the DJ Readers, I was even kind of like, oh, maybe bring Danico Autry back, and that didn't end up happening. But they signed Wilkins. I laughed when I heard it's a big kind of like ringer tier pod thing to be like, well, what are the Raiders doing? Like, they're in a division with Patrick Mahomes and they don't have a quarterback and they're spending $100 million on a defensive tackle, like doing all this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah. What are they doing trying to beat Patrick Mahomes with a defensive tackle and a pass rush? That's weird that they're trying to do that. It's so strange that they want to build because every time I've seen Patrick Mahomes lose a game, like a big game, it was because a defensive line got active on him. When you get Patrick Mahomes in a shootout, he finds a way, whether it's bureaucratically with like some defensive holding to extend a drive or just with the fact that he's Patrick Mahomes. Most of the time when you see him lose, like the Tampa Super Bowl, the Bengals AFC Championship game, and the Raiders on Christmas, it was because he got dominated by the other defense. And it's like that's a great signing. I mean, look, Max Crosby, I viewed that as like getting like Jamar Chase to Joe Burrow. Like, to me, it was like, okay, Max Crosby has like that other guy. And with Aaron Donald retiring, you see stuff like that. It's like the Raiders have a defensive line right now, especially if Tyree Wilson just develops. I saw Max Crosby talking to Baldy about that. Like, just, no, we're going to get Tyree, to be good. Like, don't worry about that. And Harrison Bryant, I think that's a really good tight end too. I actually like that more than Hooper because he's kind of a more dual purpose. And if they're going to run the football this year, which is what I think they're going to try to do, I like that a lot. The one that I didn't like was Andre James, but at the same time, I saw what Robert Hunt and guys like that got, and I was like, okay, I get it. I understand because Telesco was like Telesco. I will say this: he's been a little tentative. However, he's coming from a place where his number one criticism was cap hell.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Keenan Allen's getting traded, all these things. That was him, along with the Spanos son that was doing the contracts. But I do think everything he's done has been pretty good. Like it's been pretty good. I'd like to see a little more. Like the Willie Gay going to the Saints. I'm like, that could have been us.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be the case that I'd rather them be a little too shy rather than just splurge on just all these guys that they're going to trade eventually if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, I think with some of the signings, it kind of tells how they feel about the team a little bit. So linebacker, they feel comfortable there. You feel like, and they let all the linebackers go. You know what I mean? Like all of them. Devin White, they let all of them go. And Luke Masterson, he actually looked pretty good last year. And Divine Diablo, Robert Spillane. So I think they feel like they're pretty set at linebacker. If they go linebacker, they might do it in the draft, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Cornerback is the position I think they're really targeting right now. I think they're because there's a lot of good veterans out there that can come cheaper. I think cornerbacks come cheaper later on. That's why you got the Casey Haywards you can get. They got Marcus Peters for really cheap last year, even though he didn't play well. But Xavier Howard's out there. Those guys are there for them to pick up and bring that corner in because I think that's important. They don't have a veteran corner right now.
Yeah.
That's in the mock in my mock draft I was thinking about taking a corner at some point, but I was like, man, they got Ja'Cory Bennett, they got some of these young guys in there. Maybe they need a veteran though.
They do need a veteran.
They need a vet. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know. I think Adoree Jackson's still available too.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
Even there's some guys out. Is Steven Nelson still out there too?
I don't know. I haven't been super around Twitter today, but like as far as yesterday he was. So if he got signed, it was and he's always solid everywhere he goes. And
everywhere.
That's like they just need. I don't think they need to make like this huge trade. To me, for a while I was like, ooh, does Miami's letting guys go? Do they still want Jalen Ramsey? I was thinking about certain things like that, but Steven Nelson's one of those guys. A lot of fans don't know about him. They might remember him from he wasn't on the Chiefs back in the day. And then he's one of those guys you bring in and you kind of want to Jack Jones proof this roster in a sense that I like Jack Jones, but there could always be the thing that we all fear about Jack Jones, and it's not anything he does on the field.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to have that veteran that can still run that secondary. You have young-ish safeties and young corners. It'd be nice to have one kind of veteran who comes from some sort of winning program, some sort of winning team to be in that group.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know somebody's talking about Brandon Facyal still the team, and I understand that, but I think they get an upgrade from that. There's a bunch of guys that can upgrade, especially like Xavier Howard, right? Nelson is still unsigned, so that's what I'm talking about. Guys like that they can find for cheaper. They can still bring those guys in, and they freed up some cap room. Letting go of Hunter Renfrow, and of course Jimmy Garoppolo's gone, so I mean they have some money to spend on free agency, but there's really not a lot they can really go after besides cornerback, in my opinion. So I think that's got to be their target, man. I think they can maybe get a couple if they like, unless they're expecting Ja'Cory Bennett just to take that next step. But I doubt that. I think they got to get some kind of like good veteran in here. So that's got to be important, because they're not even looking at safeties or anything like that. I mean, they got Chris Smith and Polamalu behind Epps and Morig already, so they're pretty set there too. So I guess we're kind of seeing how comfortable they are with this football team a little bit, right?
I think they like the roster. I think they like the roster. That's kind of it's. So part of me is like, you do, and then part of me is like, no, I do too. Like I actually do like this Raiders roster. It's missing obviously a quarterback. Like it's missing that. Like in the AFC, it's missing that quarterback, which I think throws a lot of fans off. But I'm gonna say, dude, like there's a lot of talent on this roster. They're actually, when I hear podcasts talking about the Raiders, they kind of dismiss what's there a lot. They're kind of like they act like they're this Carolina Panthers, like bare bones, like they have nothing. It's like no, there's a lot there. They are missing some key components. Really, just one big key component. And I think right now what they're trying to do, even if it doesn't happen this year, and I know Raider fans are like, oh, it has to happen this year. It might not, but they're trying to make sure that they're a quarterback away. And
Yeah.
right, that's what when you bring in a guy like Christian Wilkins, like, and you shake up things on the coaching staff, bring in who you think is a good offensive mind. For the most part, it's like I think that cap space, a lot of that stuff is going to be rolled over to extend Kuntz, maybe another Crosby contract next year.
Mm-hmm.
Trayvon Merritt, like there's a lot of guys that are going to be up for contracts. That if they do have good years this year, which I think they should, there's no reason they shouldn't. It's year 3 for a lot of these guys in Patrick Graham's system on defense. They
Mm-hmm.
might want to start paying those guys. So as Raider fans, we're not used to second contracts with our guys. We really aren't.
Yeah.
Like that, it's a foreign land for a lot of these guys. I mean, Khalil Mack didn't get one. I hate to bring that up with the Raiders, but I just mean
Mm-hmm.
in a sense, like that might explain the lack of movement, I think, to a lot of fans.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's my thing, because some of the positions they attacked really early on, like center. Okay, like they looked at the landscape. Okay, we're gonna have to pay tons of millions of dollars for a center. Let's just bring back Andre James. He's a solid player. I have my issues with Andre James, but he's a solid center. He is. He's solid.
He is.
Right. So you bring him back, right, and then the 7 looked at guards really. So I mean, maybe they're targeting that in the draft. That's something because a guard you could bring in and he could probably play pretty well as a rookie. I mean, tackle's a little different in my opinion, but I think as a rookie, a guard could play a lot better than a tackle.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think they're targeting there as well because they haven't really brought in any guards, and I don't know who's there on the roster that they feel like is very comfortable. Yeah. So I did kick the hornet's nest with Minshew.
You did.
Yeah, man. I was expecting that really. To be honest, I thought people ignored my tweet, but I guess he's a fan favorite already.
I get why
let's
people
talk about that. Go ahead. Let's talk about that a little bit. I guess
I get that people like him. However, it does feel like we signed him, so Marcus, shut up. We signed him. He's our guy now. Shut up. Still give me a minute. I felt like that's what a lot of fans were doing because he does. Well, and also, who are Minshew's best games against? The freaking Raiders, man.
I know that's
so that's another thing. Like there are Raider fans that don't, and that's fine if you only watch really one team. If you are just a Raider fan that watches only Raider games, you're kind of like, oh man, this guy's a beast. Like he kills us, and he does. The last game in Oakland, I'll never forget it. And then this recent one where the Raiders actually had a shot at the playoffs, or at least to stay alive. Minshew ended that. And so did the Colts defense, but still at the end of the day, Minshew was the winning quarterback in that situation. And I don't hate that signing. I think it's fine, especially when you see that Sam Darnold, Jacoby Brissett, who I do think he's better than both of those guys right now. Like I think he's, Brissett's pretty good, but I think when you're talking about like bridge starter, it still gives you room. They didn't give him Jimmy G money. They give him half of that. Or, at least for this year, about half of that. And it does give them freedom. I kind of liked the move as like okay, this is our worst case scenario. Worst. O'Connell doesn't pick up the offense. We strike out at quarterback. Just nothing goes our way. Gardner Minshew starts for the Raiders. It's been worse in the past, right, guys? Like it has been. So I will say I thought that was a kind of shrewd move to do it. Kind of at first, every fan was like, what? Everybody.
Yeah.
But then you saw the numbers and you're like, okay, that's crazy. And then you see Sam Darnold get $10 million.
Sam Darnold got a lot.
Sam Darnold stinks. Like he's not good. People are always waiting for the next Sam Darnold because they're all USC. There's USC fans everywhere, and they think he's good. I'm like, no, he's terrible. Gardner Minshew has at least looked good in the NFL before.
Yeah, yeah. Because that was my thing. I mean, because I guess some guy was on Raider Nation Radio talking about he's a good mentor for Jaden Daniels, and I was like, why? What are you talking about? See, that's my thing. Just because somebody runs doesn't really mean they're mobile. He's just a gutsy guy, so he's just gonna do whatever it takes to win. So that means run for a first down, or if I'm gonna, do whatever it takes because he's so gutsy, right? But it's just if he ends up playing, I just think it's more about you. We don't have Shane Stitchen, I guess. That's the main thing I was watching when I was watching the film is that like Shane Stitchen is a sous chef, bro. Like
he's good.
He's good. Really damn good. He made a lot of things easy for Minshew, a lot of RPOs, a lot of easy looks, a lot of easy things. And I don't know if Luke Getsy is going to do that, right? So that's my little kind of fear with Gardner Minshew if he actually got in there. That's why I think O'Connell might be able to handle what he wants him to do a little bit better because Minshew was really Shane Stitchen was really helping him out a lot, giving him a lot of easy looks, and he still wasn't that consistent as a quarterback. And so it's gonna be interesting, man. I still think they're gonna try to target a quarterback in
Oh
the
yeah.
draft
Oh
for sure, but yeah, he is more of an emergency. Just like, okay, if O'Connell doesn't work out, whatever they want to
yeah.
do, we'll go Gardner Minshew. Yeah, so yeah. I just think that the players, I think the offensive players wouldn't be the happiest if he was the quarterback. That's kind of my thing. I feel like that he is just because his arm limitations and some of the things, that's what everybody talks about with other people. But like, I don't know how happy they would be or how comfortable they would feel like they're going to win if he was in there, especially if they don't have the kind of, I don't know. It's weird. Watching the Colts, a lot of it was Shane Stitchen, so Luke Getsy would have to cook with him, and that's the thing with Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, and I do think that, again, if the Raiders like their roster, which we think they do, right? Like they had money. They could have gone out and signed a lot of guys, and they didn't. So I would imagine Devontae Adams, guys like that, Jacoby Myers, they might still be a little bit partial to O'Connell on the roster. This is the way teams work. They're like, we like this kid, we believe in him. We think, and there's no reason to think he can't get better than he was last year. And doesn't mean he gets faster. I think that's what a lot of fans want. Is they think he's going to run fast. Like they think he needs to run faster. No, that's never going to be there. But he might get quicker in his reads through his progressions and things like that. Now it's a switch. It's a switch in offenses. So he might not pick it up. And that's why I think Minshew's there. Because it's like, okay, this guy started. And look, Minshew is a Raider. I'll give him that. He is a Raider. Like there's a story. I think Matt posted it. And it was from Pardon My Take, where he talked about like he wanted an extra year in college so he could actually like prove himself and get drafted. So he got an injury thing by hurting himself. He like smashed a part of his body with a hammer after getting drunk off Jack Daniels to like stay in college to get another year. And eventually went to like Washington State and stuff and had a really nice year under Mike Leach there. But he is I can understand Antonio Pierce being like, yeah, bring him in. You know what I mean? Like, bring him in. I want this guy on my team. It doesn't mean he's my starting quarterback, but I want him there. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I'm saying his name wrong. It's Steichen. My bad. My bad, guys.
German guy. Yeah, Steichen.
Steichen. My bad, guys. He said, yeah, I mispronounce people's names all the time, man. It's
all good. I kind of like it. I think you should just lean into it and just mess everybody.
Just lean into it. Make it a part of the show, right? Just mispronounce people's names all the time, man. Yeah.
Yeah, just everybody.
From Levis, the Penix, you know what I mean?
Just do it all. Yeah. Yaden Daniels. You're like, well, who's that? Yeah.
Yaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Yaden Daniels.
yeah. Just do that.
Yeah, just lead right into it, bro. Read right into it. All right. So let's start to get to this mock draft stuff. So let's talk about the Vikings a little bit here before we get into this. The Vikings got 23 today for basically they robbed the Texans. I don't even know why the Texans did that.
I don't understand it from the Texans' perspective at all. But yeah, go ahead.
What the hell was that? What did they even get? What did they win from that? I just totally fleeced, I guess. I don't know.
Tackle heavy draft, and you're picking at 23. You could get a starting offensive tackle, and you decided you did for your quarterback. You already have a quarterback.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know, man. I mean, that was weird. It was like, what happened? Like, what else? Like, they just from 42 to 23, and we'll go all the way back to 42 for nothing. Insane. And it's like they just gave the Vikings a chance to move up. They're like, oh, hey, well, it's like it was a favor or something. Like they're boys or something. I don't know. Like they must know each other from somewhere or something. Some kind of hookup here, man. I don't know what that's about, but
yeah.
The Vikings moved up to 23, and now they have 11 and 23. Okay. Now, I saw something about Jimmy Johnson's little draft value thing, and I guess this is like they have the value to get up to 3 or 4 just based off those 2 picks. I'm sure they're going to have to give up more, of course. But yeah, they're in good position. So where does that put the Raiders at this point when it comes to making these type of picks? Because I mean, Raiders need a quarterback, and the Vikings are primed to do it. The Broncos seem like they're going to punt on. I don't know who they're taking. I don't know what their plan is, but I think Sean Payton thinks he can win with anybody. So they might roll with Stidham. To be honest, would you be crazy? But they might do it. So, what are your thoughts? Like, what are the Raiders' plans for a quarterback? Can they still trade up? Can they still get somebody like that, or I mean, because the Vikings might be trading up for Drake May, which still frees up JJ McCarthy.
Yeah,
So
and then you trade up for JJ McCarthy, I guess is the conversation, right? Like, let's just say that's the case. Now, they might be trading up for JJ McCarthy too. They might be both. Like it
yeah,
might, and also they don't have a trade partner yet to get up.
mm-hmm.
That's the thing people need to realize about Minnesota. There might be a time we're a month-ish, a little more over a month out from the draft. So let's say we all think as Raider fans, we think that the Patriots want to move down, right? Is that the case?
Yeah,
Like that's what it is. So
mm-hmm.
one, Justin Fields hasn't been traded yet, and I'm not saying that the Bears aren't taking Caleb Williams. That's still where I would lean as a betting man. This did start
Yeah,
as a betting show on Friday nights. The betting man, Caleb Williams, probably going to the Bears, but they haven't traded Justin Fields yet. Keenan Allen's like, I'm really excited to play with Justin Fields. It's really weird, very strange. These people that all the Justin Fields like love that's happening in that organization.
mm-hmm.
Then it's like, okay, the Patriot. I don't think Washington's trading down. If they do, that's crazy.
No, nope.
But it's Dan Quinn. But they're signing a lot of guys to kind of fill random starter holes on their team. So I do think that they're going to go. I think that they're going Drake May, in my opinion. I don't think they're
Patriots.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Drake May. No. Sorry, Washington.
Okay.
I think Washington is going Drake May, and then I think 3 is Jaden Daniels. He's quarterback 3. If the Patriots are like in a couple weeks from now are like, let's just take Jaden Daniels, then what do the Vikings do? So you've traded up for those picks.
Mm-hmm.
Are you like the Saints a couple years ago, where the Saints, I don't know if they were trying to do it for a quarterback, but remember when the Saints, that year that the Niners traded up for Trey Lance, and then the Saints traded with somebody, I think it might have been the Eagles, to get 2 first-round picks, but then they just took Chris Olave and Trevor Penning?
Yeah.
And I'm like, were they trying to do something else? I have no idea, but they ended up with just 2 players. With the Vikings, it's like, it's a weird trade to make even from their perspective. Yes, it gets you ammo, and it is a year where maybe there's not as much depth on day 3, so who cares? F them picks,
Yeah.
But I get that, but it's like do they have a trade partner yet? Because I expected a subsequent deal to happen right after. And they didn't.
So a couple things. With the Patriots, just from reading their beat writer stuff, because that's what I've been paying attention. I've been reading a lot of these other teams, top teams, beat writers, because they kind of, especially Patriots. The Patriots, those guys have a lot of intel. Those guys know what's going on with the Patriots, right? Yeah, Boston, those people talk. They know what's going on.
They run the sports world. Yeah, they run.
They're basically Jaden Daniels or bust. So if it's not Daniels, that's the thing. That's what people are interested with them trading up, because they were like feeling out Drake May. But that's why the report of Daniels not wanting to play there came out, because the Patriots want him. And Daniels is kind of letting them know, like, hey, I really don't want to go there. But they're like, even the Patriots writer, like, he doesn't get to make that choice. So, so there really are Daniels or bust. So if Daniels falls to them, they're taking him. Right now, if Daniels goes to the Commanders, see that this puts the Raiders, like Daniels is kind of out of the Raiders. He is. You see it. So if the Commanders go Daniels, then 3 kind of goes up for sale, and you can figure out who's going to try to move up to 3. Like, is it the Giants, or do the Patriots take the 11 and 23, which is probably the best value to take? I mean, because whatever the Giants give them is going to be the next year, right? Or you can get a wide receiver this year, maybe, and get a tackle or whatever they need to get, right? And get those 2 picks. So that's the kind of the dilemma that's happening here. So that's why I feel like if the Vikings did trade up, it would be for Drake May or JJ McCarthy, right? But it might be Drake May because Josh McCown coached Drake May in high school. So, and he's the quarterback coach over there. So that's the connection there too, which I feel like they kind of might like Drake May a lot. And just because they know him and a lot of those things they can build with him. So yeah, it's gonna be almost what happens with Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels really controls a lot of this draft, guys. That's really what it is.
But I just want to reiterate to Raider fan that now this is the chat seems like academic scholars. They understand this, how this happens. I'm speaking to Raiders Twitter right now. They're doing this we need a quarterback or else I'm not watching this year kind of thing.
I've seen that.
Yeah, no, it happens a lot. Like where it's like we just don't want to. You just don't want to be good if you don't get a quarterback, and it's like, okay, I get it. I would prefer to have the answer at quarterback on the roster rather than not. I'm not against going up and getting a guy. I don't think there's anything wrong to me, my number one, my mock draft's going to look different only because I wanted to be different than my last one.
Mm-hmm.
If Fuanga, I believe is how you say it. Fuanga is
Yeah.
there at 13. Smash that button. I want, if we're having Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, I want left tackle and right tackle set. Right, you can go get a Dalton Reisner at guard, move Parham to the right side. Andre James is there, and we're set, right? And then maybe it's not. And then you have a chance to become like what the Steelers were last year, where it was like, okay, what is this team doing? But they look tough and smart, and they play hard, and they're almost there. And then it truly puts you a quarterback away to where you can be like the Chiefs were when they went and got Patrick Mahomes. Now, I'm not saying that's what you fall into every time, but like Lamar falling to the Ravens at the end of the first round, Jalen Hurts to the Eagles in the second round. All of these guys that elevated their teams but weren't drafted in the top 10. I'm fine with drafting the best player available at 13. I won't be sad if I like the player. If it's an Alex Leatherwood situation, hell no. But to be honest, I don't really see that this year. I don't see the surprise. I think they're going to take a name we're used to hearing at pick 13, for in the mocks and stuff. I think they're going to do a consensus board kind of situation this year. So I'm not quarterback or bust this year, though I'm sympathetic to fans that just want to have the guy to build around. There's other ways to win in the NFL. Jared Goff is the quarterback of the Lions, and they were in the NFC Championship game. Brock Purdy's the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Jalen Hurts is the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know that any of those guys are actually the best player on their team. Yeah. You know what I mean? I just, that's what I mean. There's other ways to do it. We've been Patrick Mahomes and Brady poisoned and Stroud, now that Stroud is hitting the ground running, but there's other ways to do it.
Yeah. Because CJ Stroud, he's basically kind of the, what people see, draft that quarterback and he just takes off, right? But I mean, that was a good situation too, because I mean, they have those tackles over there. They're pretty set on the offensive line. They're a lot more ready than was given. They just had
Nico Collins, guys like that. Tank Dell, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this draft, man, because it's going to be hard for them to get one of the top quarterbacks, right? I know people. Yeah. They want Jay Daniels. It's going to be tough, and some people are like, then we have to take somebody. Then you have to take Penix. You have to take Rattler. You have to take
Yeah, I don't want them to waste a pick on because I have to have a quarterback. I want you to love the quarterback you're taking. That's my thing. I don't want them to be like, well, the fans said they'd stop watching, and then take Spencer Rattler when you don't like Spencer Rattler. That's not to say that I don't like him. I just mean if the team does not feel like he's a fit, I don't think they're going to go this route. But to me, it's it's okay to get a good corner, good tackle, a guard, these positions that maybe they're not dire needs, but you're adding good players to a team. And we saw a scrappy Raider team last year. I don't like the narrative that they beat Easton Stick, they beat this. No, it was different. If you watched it looked different. They're just the energy on the field. Mm-hmm. And if you're one of those people that thought they won too many meaningless games, you should be mad that they fired Josh McDaniels after the Detroit game, then, because that would have got us a top 5 pick.
It would have.
We all celebrated it because we all knew we wanted him gone. So you should have just said, actually, keep him for the rest of the year because we want a top 5 pick. So that's not their logic. It's not most teams' logic. When there's cancer, cut it out. So that's just the way I look at it.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into we get some questions. People are asking about Penix or Bo. I wouldn't mind Penix, or even if Nix fell that far, I wouldn't mind Nix.
I'm warming up to Bo Nix late first round trade up from 44. I'm warming up to that. Mm-hmm.
It's a little foreshadowing there, but we won't put that up there too long.
He thinks like me. He thinks like
who do you think the Jets take at 10? They just got Tyron Smith, but I still think they might take a tackle. So we'll see.
Yeah, what if they just go? To me, I think they're a trade down opportunity for a Jackson Powers Johnson kind of thing. You know what I mean? Interior line. I mean, if it's going to be all Rodgers, all offensive line. They also might if Rome Odunze's there, what stops them from taking Rome Odunze?
Yeah, that's true.
All they really have is Garrett Wilson, and then all those Packers cadaver receivers that Rodgers brought with him.
Would you take a shot on White? Probably not. Does he have knees left? I don't know if he has any knees left.
Oh, what does he want? Does he want to play for $3.5 million next year? Absolutely, I bring him in.
Or trade for Jair Alexander.
We're talking.
We're talking. I would like that. I would
Oh
like that. I
yeah.
wonder how expensive that would be. And his personality's out there, but I think AP could
No,
handle
I think we're gonna be getting out there personality guys. Christian Wilkins is crazy, and I love it. He's crazy. Him and
That's
Max
right.
Crosby. I saw somebody from the Ringer was like, they're actually building the most annoying team of all time. I'm like, no, she's right. I was like, she's right, and I like that. We want to be annoying again. Everybody already hates us. So you might as well be annoying.
Yeah, yeah, this is funny. He said McDaniels ran BD off TDL.
He really did.
He
He
kind of
couldn't
did.
take it.
He couldn't take it no more.
Yeah, PG wasn't enough. You know.
He's I'm gonna be a family man. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, couldn't take it.
All right. So let's get to the mock draft here first. All right, so we got 4 picks here. Kind of, this is kind of based on the scenario of what's happening right now. Either was didn't trade up, but my second round pick might be a trade up situation. But
Okay,
we'll get into it. So
let's rock.
Let's start off with yours, man. Let's rock. So first pick in the draft at 13. Who'd you take?
It's a Quinyon Mitchell.
Okay.
It's a Quinyon Mitchell. Now, I will say this. I have said on this program that I don't like taking corners in the first round. I'm still scared of this pick. I'm still Fuanga all day. I'm Fuanga all day at 13. I would be mad. But this is a huge need for the Raiders right now. Again, I want to Jack Jones proof this roster to a point where, like, if Jack Jones just has an issue, as he's had in the past, that we're not just completely toast. And Terrion Arnold is more of a Raider than Quinyon Mitchell. And I do think they might actually take Terrion Arnold over Mitchell, because Terrion Arnold is a dog. He ran a 4.55. Terrion Arnold. It's like, man, everybody's mad at Kamari Lassiter for running the 4.63, but Terrion Arnold running the 4.55, and then I think he was like 4.53 on the second or around there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a bad run, and maybe he's not a combine guy. Maybe he's not
he was 4.51 official, so he's like Joe Hayden. Him and Joe Hayden basically have the same profile.
Yeah, but I'm just like, he's good, and if they took him, I'd be fine. The 4.33. We got to beat the Chiefs. We got to beat teams like that. The 4.33. He has the traits. Look, he has not faced great competition. All the questions are valid of him, but I think Patrick Graham, I think is a damn good defensive coordinator, and I've thought that since they hired him, even after the first year, and I think he can do it.
Yeah. So
Jeremiah likes him too. Jeremiah's got him at 13. So
yeah. That's why
the league likes him.
So see here, he's getting a pick here. So I got some clips here, real quick clips. See, my thing with him, because I'm gonna start this again. I mean, he just he doesn't have first round film that much. You kind of see like right there. Like I even asked BD, man, if you're gonna do something for me, can you just watch him and tell me if I'm crazy or not? Because like some of his transitions and stuff is a little slow. He's a great tackler though. This one thing he does really well is he can tackle like crazy. He's a great tackler. You see it right here. See this tackle? He's easy wrap, boom.
Oh yeah,
great tackle.
All day.
Easy. So he's physical type of player. He's really fast. But it's just more. He has a little bit of stiff hips, and even Daniel Jeremiah said that. And I was thinking, like, you have him that high, you think he has stiff hips? Like this, he's a cornerback, right? So that's a little bit of my issue with him when I watch him is like, and I think Matt's gonna do a full on breakdown with him, but you see him break on the ball right there, kind of force that interception. He didn't make the interception, but he forced it. But just against Illinois, he has some issues. You see right here, like he just doesn't get out of his breaks very quick. That's kind of like what I worried about with him. But yeah, he has first round ability, right? But it's just more to me is like, is it consistent enough for you to take him that high?
Great. I'd have questions.
I'd have some questions, but he has a talent. He does. It's just it's sometimes like when you got those hips, right? It's interesting, man. I don't know. That's why I had to ask BD. I was like, BD, if you could do one thing for me all this whole draft season, I would just want you to watch Quinyon Mitchell and tell me if I'm crazy or not.
I saw a question in the chat, and I'd like to. This is a question I have. What do the Raiders ask out of their DBs? It sounds kind of remedial, but like, there's people when they're. That's why I'm most scared first round DB, because I'm like, what do I want from him? You know what I mean? What am I asking him to do? There's so many other positions where it's like, well, this guy's just good at his job. I'll draft him. But like DB
Mhm.
is such a ecosystem, that secondary. It's such an ecosystem that you're trying to create in the secondary. So like do the Raiders do more zone? Do they do more man? Do they do that? Do they do that? Is he capable? Now flipping the hips is like, to me, like press man, right? Like you're in
Yeah.
press man. And I know that's how you make your money in the NFL, but like if the Raiders are playing a little off and in zone, I do like that 4-3-3 speed to close windows. I that's
Yeah.
just mhm.
Yeah. So last year they played like 38% cover three. So they played a lot of cover three last year.
Got it.
But the year before they played mostly quarters. So, Patrick Graham kind of just adapts to what his personnel is. So it's really hard for me to say what exactly they like. But he does like guys who can play press, right? That can do that. That can play man when they need to play man. He likes that. Like Jack Jones can play man when he needs to play man. Most Nate Hobbs okay when he needs to play man, but most of the time when they need to play man, he can do it. And if they get another corner out there, they need him to play man. They want him to play man. So he wants a guy with the ability to be able to play that position, but you don't see a lot of that from Quinion Mitchell on tape. He's a lot of off coverage, a lot of playing zone that they were doing over there. But Terrion Arnold, he's from Nick Saban, so they play press, they do all that stuff, they do all the NFL stuff over there already. So that will be the difference between those two, and also Terrion Arnold is basically Nate Hobbs, like if he was a first round pick. Basically, he's not as fast and athletic, but if you could put him in a slot like Nate Hobbs, and all the Raiders fans would love him just like Brady Hobbs because he'd be tackling people like crazy.
Sure.
He would go up there and he takes on linebackers. He takes on like everybody, just like I think he even played linebacker in high school or something like that.
I do like
So,
his makeup a lot more than Quinion Mitchell. Like I like
yeah,
him with that 4.55. Even if it was like 4.49, 4.5 flat. Well, I know he ran a 4.51, and maybe at his pro day. I saw somebody say it as pro day, but we know how pro days work. So even if
yeah.
he ran at his pro day and he goes faster, I understand. I think the Raiders will like Arnold more than Mitchell. I just was like, look, add some explosiveness, at least something that you think is explosive here. And what is the league seeing in him though? Like, why is he in the top 15 in so many mocks and everything? Like from even guys that know things. Like, what does the NFL see in Mitchell?
I mean, he had a great Senior Bowl. His Senior Bowl, he was best corner at the Senior Bowl, locked everybody down. So yeah, so he showed press coverage skills there, right? So he showed a lot more of his skills at the Senior Bowl. But my come back to that is there wasn't a lot of great receivers there, especially when who he was going against. He wasn't going against Ricky Purcell. He wasn't
Marvin
going
Harrison.
against Lad McConkey. You know what I mean? Even just those two guys. Those two guys were on the other team, right? He didn't go up against them in practice. We didn't see him try to lock those guys up, who are two guys that might go top 100 wide receivers. So, and then his game against Illinois too, he was just getting worked a little bit too much for me. So that's why I was like, I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see. But I would rather them go Arnold because Arnold's just safer.
I agree. No, I agree. Mitchell is a risk. It's a risk. It absolutely is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go my pick. Fans might not like this one as much, but I think he is a fit what they need. And I kind of wanted to be different than what I did last time because I could have just went Fuaga.
Right. Yeah. These are different. We're being different. This is round 2.
I could have just did the same damn thing because they need a right tackle, right? And I thought about Mims. I did. That was my thing. I was like, would they take Mims? But I for some reason something tells me that the NFL is gonna be like, you were injured too much, and we're not gonna reach on you, and maybe the value might come back. So. But that was a guy I thought about. I thought of taking Mims because he's just a monster and he's just a freak looking dude. But I went with another safe one too. I went J.C. Latham from Alabama.
You don't hear a lot about him, do you? Like
No,
he's
you
always
don't.
in the mocks, but nobody's like getting super excited. But he's huge.
He's huge. He's 6'6", 342, arms 35 inches. This is my Tom Cable special here. 14 total pressures given up last season, right? But I just love him as a run blocker, and they want to run the ball. This is that guy. This is the guy that you want. He's a classic right tackle. This is a right tackle from the 1990s. He's fat. He doesn't, the other guy is super light, your little light left tackle. You had your fat right tackle who just run blocks on the other side. And that's what JC Latham is. And to me, he's just technically sound. This is another safe pick to me. I think Latham is going to be solid. I don't know if he's going, if he's not going to be great, which I think he has the technical ability to do that, to be a good player. And just type of player that he's just a road grader, man. He's just nasty. He's physical. He has a lot of great technique to him. Like you can see here, he's able to counter people, counter different players and their different pass rush looks. So he's definitely somebody that I like probably more than other people because I like his skill set, how big he is. Lance Zierlein has him as OT1,
Wow.
which I don't wouldn't have him over alt. I think that's a little nuts. But
Joe Alt's a beast. But yeah,
Joe Alt's is a playing monster. But yeah, so JC Latham, he's just the run game that he adds, right? And I think with Fuaga and him, I think Fuaga is a little bit of a better pass protector than him, but I still think they have the same problem of handling speed rushers. And I kind of show this at the end here, but they kind of have the same issue of like handling speed rushers a little bit. And so that's kind of my thing with him. But he's a classic right tackle, and he has the pedigree, and he's from Alabama, all those things. That's why I would like him at this spot if they go right tackle. But they might go Fuaga here, and the wild card is they might go Mims, man. They might go Mims.
I agree, but I think if Fuanga's there and they're going tackle, I think he's just a Raider. I think he's nasty. You know what I mean? And I like Latham. I think this is the draft. There's so many tackles. There's not one. Even Mims, you could talk me into it. It would be a little Colton Miller-y. Remember when Colton Miller got drafted? I mean, I think you and I got acquainted over me not liking Colton Miller that much back in the day. Like that was how long you and I have known each other, because I said I'd rather have Derwin James, but Colton Miller developed into something great. And perhaps Mims would follow that trajectory. Latham, Fuanga, Fashanu, these other guys, I think they're a little safer of picks. And I'm fine with it. I think this is a tackle draft. I pick corner to be different, but for me, tackle, if they're not going quarterback, I really want to get one of these tackles and really just have solidify a position group.
Yeah. He's nothing like Leatherwood. Leatherwood was not a good pass protector coming out, man. Leatherwood was like a 3rd round pick. And the Raiders are the only team that took him at 17. There's some lies talking about some of this team wanted him. Like, no, man. No.
What do you think of that Fontanu guy? I saw a question in there. I've been hearing a lot about him. Is he the Washington guy? He's Washington?
Yeah, he's a stud too. He is a stud.
Yeah, a lot of people have him high. There's guys that Connor Rogers, guys like that, they have him high.
He's a left tackle though, so I was trying to avoid the whole let's switch him to, because Olu might be there. To be honest, it's gonna be hard for them not to take Olu if they want to tackle.
Well, to me, Olu feels very finesse though, right? I don't know. We don't know. We know Antonio Pierce's mentality, but we don't know exactly if that's going to be something he wants to install in people, or if that's something they covet in the draft, right? That's what we don't know.
Yeah.
Because Olu's got the ceiling. I think Olu's ceiling is probably higher than, and my boy Joe Alt, I think is a stud. Just Joe Thomas level, good. In my opinion, I've watched every game he's played, and it's just you don't even have to worry about him. Joe. And what if Joe Alt falls? Nobody talks about this. I don't know if he's going to. I don't think he gets past the Titans, but what if they like Olu?
Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know if the Callahans are no, I see something in Olu that I don't see in Joe Alt. Joe Alt's 6'7", something it might be too tall for some guys. You never know.
Yeah, this is a good question. Which good tackle that switched stopped being good tackle after they switch?
Josh Jones.
Yeah.
Josh Jones stinks at right tackle. He's a good left tackle.
Donald Penn tore his
Yeah. Yeah. You guys saw it happen. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Who else did they move to right tackle though? I don't think any that has happened that much. Because they moved Paris Johnson to right tackle. He looked pretty good, but then they cut me Crease. They're go back to left, Paris. So,
and that's what you do, right? You take let's say the Raiders, if they draft a right tackle, the guy to play right tackle that might be a left tackle. After a while, maybe, God forbid, Colton Miller declines, gets injured. right, contract runs out, maybe they don't re-sign him, you then have the guy to switch over there, and then you maybe go the veteran 1-year deal at right tackle. It gives you versatility and gives you a little bit of freedom when you do that. Now, you hope that the guy you drafted can do both, at least. That's the problem, but it's a gamble.
I guess we got a perfect example, Brandon Parker.
BP. BP. They drafted 2 left tackles and passed on Fred Warner for Brandon Parker.
Why did they? What was that about, man?
I still remember. I remember the when that happened, they drafted him. I was like,
see, the funny part, always the funny part about this is that Colt Miller played right tackle in college, and they took the guy who never played right tackle in his life and put him at right tackle, and then kept the other guy. Like, what was that logic?
Just terrible. Just terrible.
They said good tackle. I mean, we don't know. Maybe if they actually did that right, and they kept Colt Miller right tackle and kept Brandon Parker left, maybe we would have something. We wouldn't be talking about that right now. We wouldn't be talking about tackle.
Yeah. Well, no, but I would like to. I would take best tackle. I think it's just that year in the draft, this type of year in the draft, where the tackles are just the best position group. If you're not taking a quarterback, which the Raiders might not be able to. So I do agree with the rest of the fans, despite my Quinyon Mitchell pick. If there's a good tackle, I will take him over Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm just Brandon Parker didn't give up a sack in college. All right, he didn't give up a sack.
Who was he going again? Yeah, like
HBCUs.
Yeah, just like
he was a monster. He had a good Senior Bowl, dude. To be fair, he had a good Senior Bowl. He did. Be fair. I'd be a fair joke because they're talking about he wasn't a good prospect. I mean, he wasn't a bad prospect. It's just put him at right tackle. He's never played right tackle.
And Fred Warner
and you're Tom Cable, who can't coach anybody up. So it was terrible. Terrible.
I just remember that draft, that third round being like kind of good. Like somebody would have to go back and look at the third round of that year. There were like some good players, Fred Warner being the one, but like there were other guys where I'm like, God, man, we really took Brandon Parker.
Yeah, man. All right, let's get the second round, bro. Let's get second round. Second round. Who you got for us?
Yeah, let me make sure I check my mock. This was done earlier this week, guys. Sorry, I'm caught up on. Graham Barton, of course, dude. Interior offensive lineman, Graham Barton. This guy's flying up. This guy's flying up draft boards right now. I think behind Jackson Powers Johnson, he is like the number 2 interior offensive lineman. But those guys can slide. So now teams value this position more than the podcasts do. So he can go late first. It wouldn't surprise me. But I think this guy's got some versatility. Short arms, so he's probably going to stay inside. But he's a beast. I mean, he's a beast. I found him out when Notre Dame. I'm a Notre Dame fan. Riley Leonard is transferring to Notre Dame. And I was watching a little bit, and I'm like, man, that guard is a beast. And I really like this guy, this Graham Barton guy. I think he's good. He's got nastiness to him, but he's also it seems really technically sound and good in pass game. 11 total pressures. Just good. Just you don't see him getting pushed back by anybody. Win against good, as you see Louisville. Marcus actually put it against good teams, which I always like what Marcus does. He doesn't just put like highlight reels. He goes against good teams like Louisville. So he's played well, and the rest of the offensive line didn't look that good, as you see here. But
let's keep real. He had to play left tackle.
He did. He had to, and he's kind of like a Skoronski to me. Where like Skoronski, like people talk about his versatility, but Skoronski just has really short arms, and it's just tough to do that at the next level. To me, I would draft him to hope to have him at guard, and just be able to have that interior offensive line just solidified for the next few years, assuming that Parham is in good grace with this regime. I'm a big fan. I do think he's going to go late first, but he's my second round pick.
Yeah, Barton's a stud, bro. He's a monster. That dude, his film is so damn good. It really is. Like,
yeah, he's just. I was watching. I was watching Riley Leonard, and I was like, man, 62. Like, this guy is a beast. And then I looked, and I'm like, oh, DJ's got him. Early. In his top 50. Daniel Jeremiah. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It is. He's impressive, dude. He's a pretty impressive guy. He's just sound, technically sound. He doesn't get beat a lot. When he does get beat, it was mostly because he's out of position. Like, we don't even know how good he is without like playing guard. That's my thing, man. So it is going to be interesting with him. See how he kind of can come into the offense and move into guard. But I think he's a stud, dude. Stud, like straight up. Like a home run to me in the second round. And I think they could get him there because it's a guard and it's the value of guards. They're going to overvalue positions. You know, we don't know what's going to happen with these quarterbacks. Somebody could try to trade up, try to get quarterbacks, try to get wide receivers that fall, try to get, whatever. The tight ends might start going. We don't know what's going to happen. And the guards will start falling, right?
What would you say? Would you be mad? I don't think you would, but like, what if they went like Fuanga and then Barton, like, and it was just all offensive line? Like, I would do it.
Yeah.
I'm a sicko like that. BBWs all day. Like, just.
Yeah, man. It would be a big time there, dude, for real.
I think it's that kind of draft. Get the trenches. If you can't get that quarterback, get nasty. That's the way I look at it.
All right. So that is the end of my clips. I ran out of clips, guys, but we're going to keep the draft going after this. So who my pick is, which I think the fans are going to like this one. They're going to like this one. I went Michael Penix at 44. Michael Penix, Washington, 6'2", 216. I don't know why I put that 4.3 and the 38. Just ignore that, guys. But 4,036 yards.
I got Michael Vick. That's crazy.
Ignore that, guys. Ignore it. But yeah, Michael Penix. This is great value for me with him right here. And I do think he's going to be here. I know a lot of fans refuse to believe it, but I think he's going to be here. I think we have 2 torn ACLs. You've been injured 4 years in a row, and then you have 2 seasons where you're not injured, right? The NFL is going to keep those 4 years in the back of their mind. It's going to scare them a little bit, and that's why I think he's going to fall just because of the injury history. You don't see him in any first-round mock draft right now. It will be interesting to see if he did go first round. If somebody would go, it might be to Seattle. But they just traded for Sam Howell, right? So so they traded for Sam Howell. I mean, they could add a third quarterback if they wanted, but this is the guy. I think if they can't get a quarterback, I think they can get him at 44, and hopefully he can develop into a starting quarterback. I think there's a chance that he can do that if you could get a good offensive line around him. And he can run the vertical offense, and I put those crazy times up there, but I do think he's a little bit more athletic than people give him credit for. If you go watch the Michigan game, I did a breakdown of that on the members channel. There's a lot of him running zone read that game, a lot of him using his legs and getting out of the pocket and making some throws. That it is there. So, but he is a natural pocket passer. But I do like Michael Penix here at 44. I think it's a great pick if the Raiders like him, and they might even have to trade up for him and get that. But if they like him, this is it. This is the guy.
No, and look, you can talk me into almost any quarterback. If my team, the Raiders, likes them enough to go get them, they see something. I trust them, and he's got the arm. I do agree with you that he can move around a bit. It's not amazing, and watching him when he was overmatched. And I will say he had a damn good supporting cast, right? Damn good supporting cast. And I'm kind of like, okay, I actually think the Raiders are a really good situation for a rookie quarterback. I think they're one of the best ones in the league. And I wouldn't always say this. I'm not a homer. They have, Myers, Adams. They've got some offensive line talent. And if these drafts go the way that you and I want them to, they'll have more offensive line talent there and a well-coached defense. So I do think it's a good situation for a rookie quarterback.
Michael, it was a mistake, man. I left that in there from Quinyon Mitchell, and I was doing it after the thing. So it was a mistake, guys. Don't ignore it. Ignore the 40 time. It's a lie. It's a mistake.
Yeah. It's 4.73, guys. Just
4.73. It was a mistake there. But but Michael Penix, I honestly I do think on film I always felt like he was a second round pick. I'll keep it real. I mean, even the first time I watched Boise State, I just saw a second round pick. I didn't see like a big time first round guy, even though he has a first round arm. I think there's some things that that little quirks that he has. He's not the most consistent accuracy guy, but at 44, it's great value.
Okay, so I have a question for you right now.
Okay.
The Raiders trade up. You see the little ticker on the bottom, right? The ticker on the bottom, trade, right? On the ES when we're watching the draft. and then it says you trade up and you think it's for a quarterback, right? And the Raiders trade back into the first round. The two big quarterbacks that are there are Nix and Penix. Who are you hoping that they take if they do that?
At 44.
No, I mean trading up from 4, whatever. It doesn't matter either way. But the second pick, the Raiders' second pick, whatever their second pick is, who are you hoping for out of those two? I'm struggling with this. I say Bo, but
I kind of would want to take Penix just because I don't know. I feel like just in the second round at that point, I don't know. It's hard with me with them. I feel like they're kind of like right the same kind of type of thing. They both changed schools and then they went to like these dynamic spread out offenses and then started balling, right? So it's hard for me. Like on film, I kind of lean Knicks, but like on like do Moxie a little bit, I kind of lean Penix. So I kind of want to go Penix, right?
It's a tough
I feel
call.
like it is, man. It is. And Bo Nix, he always feels like he could have some check down Charlie on him. And I know Michael Penix does not have check down Charlie. And Michael Penix is a check down more often. So yeah, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
and guys, we're just making up 40 times. Michael Penix is not running 40.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is. I was, in my opinion, he's like a 4.6, 4.7 guy. If you were to run straight up, I don't think he did run. I just was. That's just my guess. I don't think he's fast. I think he's functionally mobile.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So we're going to the next pick, right? Your third round pick here. Who did you?
I know mine this time. I'm prepared. Yeah, I know mine this time. I went. I tried to be realistic here. There's running backs I like more than him, but I went Jalen Wright, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Absolute.
And these numbers are correct, guys. I got these numbers right here.
Yeah, he's a 4.38. He's a true 4.38. It'd be crazy if Penix was faster than him, but true 4.38. I like what he does. He just is one of those guys. Look, I am not on your level of scouting. When I watch that guy run with the ball in his hand, it just looks good. It looks NFL. And everyone knows I'm a big Notre Dame homer. I love Audric Estime. He's slow. So Jalen Wright is quick, fast, 5'10", 210. I mean, like that's just a running back to me. Like it's just he could even add some weight after his first season, but I think Zamir White's going to be a bit of a kind of a bruiser. I think he's going to develop into more of a bruiser, kind of between the tackles guy. And Jalen, I do expect them to add like a Dante Foreman kind of tier back, and then draft somebody. So I think Jalen Wright would be a good guy to just have on the roster, part of the offense year one, but somebody by year 2 or year 3 maybe could be your lead back. And I think Jalen Wright's the guy.
Yeah, it's funny about this draft with these running backs, man. I feel like it's a bunch of third down backs because of the way college football is. And Jalen Wright, because these guys didn't get a ton of carries, right? But he made the most of them. I really like how he runs. He has pretty good vision. I think I have him as running back. Either I can't remember off the top of my head, but I finished grading all the running backs, and I'm pretty high on him. He is somebody he really can't block though. For what he likes to do. I don't know if they really asked him to do that. Like a lot of these guys coming out, they can block like crazy. It's kind of a little shocking to me. I've never seen these guys so ready to play on third down like they are, and just because you're passing so much. And in college football, these guys are figuring like I ain't gonna get paid if I can't block and I can't catch. So if I want to play running back, I'm not getting paid to do that in the NFL. If I could just run the ball and just play 2 down back, I'm not getting paid like Christian McCaffrey's or those type of guys, or even how Josh Jacobs got paid. Because I think that's why Josh Jacobs got paid a little bit.
Right.
Because he became more of a blocker, 3 down back type of player. So Wright has that ability to come in. He could be a 3rd down back for you right away. And catch the football. He just has to work on his blocking a little bit, but he's a strong, tough runner, Brute. He's really fast. He runs really hard. It's pretty good vision. They just didn't run the ball a lot at Tennessee. So you're going to get some fresh legs because of that. So it's really not a terrible thing. But he is somebody that can come in and be pretty damn good. It'd be a good compliment to Zamir White because the speed, he's a home run hitter. And he, like I said, he runs really hard. He's hard to take down. He doesn't have a whole lot of wiggle to him, but he is hard to take down. He runs tough for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, So yeah, he's somebody that could do that, come in and make some plays.
People saying he won't be there in the third. I think he's going to be there in the third. Jonathan Brooks. Do you think any of these running backs are first round picks?
No.
Jonathan Brooks. The Florida State was Trey Benson.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a run, but I could see top of the third him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of the running backs. So I think Brooks would probably be the first one off the board.
Absolutely.
I think he'll be the first one, even though he is injured. I think he's coming off some injuries because didn't do anything in the combine, anything. But he does. He has the best film. He does. He rounds me Alvin Kamara. So he's a beast. Jonathan Brooks is a beast. Then Trey Benson. I'm not the biggest Trey Benson fan. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but the NFL is gonna be hiring Trey Benson because the NFL just likes to draft running back names. I feel like they do that more often. The bigger the name, the higher the draft pick he goes. They really don't have you don't have sleeper running backs. It's always like Breece Hall is not going to fall. Breece Hall is going second round or whatever. The top running back, Blake Corum's going to go pretty high. Corum. Those guys, the running backs that they're going to go higher than the running backs that you don't know, and that's just how the NFL is with running backs. I don't understand that. And they were like, well, you can get somebody late in the sixth, or did the NFL really evaluate these guys, or they just take the names? You know what I mean? So that's like Najee Harris going first round. He went first round because he's Najee Harris, not because he's an actual first round talent.
Right.
That's how it goes with running backs for most of the part. So the Raiders are gonna draft running back though. I know that. I feel like that's the thing. They should. There's like Estime, who would probably be there in the third round.
My God,
I do like him. Which, you took him last time though, but I do like him as well. He's not really much of a pass catcher. He doesn't block either, but he could be a 2-down back right away. But guys like Ray Davis and some of these other guys on the show. Another sleeper that I have for running back too is Milton from Georgia.
You were posting about him. Or no. Who's the guy you were posting about?
That's Tyrone Tracy, who I really like too.
Yeah, he's good.
Milton, that dude is pretty damn legit. Yeah, Marshawn Lloyd's pretty good too.
I like Marshawn Lloyd. Lloyd. I think he's another guy though. I just don't know if I'm ever gonna give 20, 25 carries to Marshawn Lloyd. He just seems like kind of a part of a backfield, which is fine. I just don't. I just don't see him as an every down back. In the league. I don't know. So it could be wrong. I'm a hater on USC, so I could be that guy.
Yeah. Safe to say we don't draft a running quarterback. Safe to say no way. Yeah, they're gonna running back for sure. I mean, they're drafting
running back for sure. Agreed.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna draft a quarterback too. I just don't. I just don't know how they're gonna work it out, man. They gotta have to figure that out somehow. I don't know, man. All right, let's go to my third round pick. So my third round pick, I went back to the interior of the defense. This is, I realized that Raiders don't have a nose guard.
Yeah.
Right? The Raiders don't have a nose guard at all. So, I went Tyler Davis from Clemson. All right. Now, he is 301 pounds. You're like, oh, that's not a nose guard. But in today's NFL, you can't have the big old fat guys there anymore. But you see, he has 15 run stops. He's one of the highest graded run defenders in PFF. Even if you don't like PFF grades, it's fine. I understand it. I don't like him all the time either, so I agree with you. But it's just a good example of how good of a run defender he is to kind of show why I went with this pick. And his film is pretty damn good. If you watch the film, he is kind of just always jumping off the film. Even when you watch Duke and watching Barton didn't have to deal with him, but the Duke players, they had a lot of problem with 13. And I think that he's somebody in the third round that's great value, and he can be a future nose guard. They really don't have that type of player in the roster. They don't have a John Jenkins right now. I don't know if they might bring back John Jenkins. I don't know what their plan is right there, but they don't have this type of guy. This, the fat man in the middle. I think he adds a little bit on first down too, for just in case a team likes to pass a lot and you want him on the field.
Yeah,
on first down, he can create a little bit of pressure, right? Because even though he's a little bit leaner, he has the power though to be a nose guard, and kind of the future of what nose guards are in the NFL. I think, especially, you can even put a little bit of weight on him too, and put some healthy weight on him as well. But he even might have leaned out for the combine too, as well. Let's keep it real, because he looks kind of fat. He don't look 301 right here. You see the stomach right here. You see it. You see the nose guard look. So that is kind of my pick on this one. That's why I kind of, I went here because one, they don't have a nose guard, and I think he's the type of player that can come in and he can play the run right away, and he's relentless and has a high motor. And like I said, on first down, he got 22 pressures last year, which is not the greatest for a defense tackle, but for a nose guard, that's pretty damn good. So,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a glad. I do think they still, the Wilkins signing. I think fans are like, whoa, well, we've got our defensive tackle. It's like, oh, you need a couple of them. People are saying Nesta, Jade Silvera. That's not something I'm going to bank on this year. That's something that can surprise me in August. That can be like, wow, that's just an addition to this defensive line. Maybe even a tough cut. You want to have a good talent, some good talent there. There because you want to let Wilkins go eat, you know what I mean? While this guy kind of just plugs gaps.
Yeah, that's a good. Why not Gervonta Sweat? Because I'll tell you this, guys. I watched Sweat at the combine, not the combine, the Senior Bowl, and I watched him during warmups, and I don't know where he's gonna go. I just don't know how the NFL really, really, really feels about him because the word on the street is that he's a little bit on the lazy side. All right. I think he was 360 at the combine. There hasn't really been that many good players at 360. Yeah, he's a little bit more of a head case than you think. Because I'm telling you, it was like me and Matt. I think we even filmed it. We literally watched him in warmups, and just to watch him kind of go through it and kind of lackadaisically and work those type of things. It kind of shows what type of player he actually is going to be. So that's why I don't know. We'll see how the NFL feels about him, but I think there's a little bit of kind of laziness to him that maybe the NFL might not like, and I don't know how much the Raiders want from these type of players and what they want to get out of him if they're really gonna like him at the end of the day. So we'll see. We'll see what happens to him. I mean, he only has like 5 sacks in his career too. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see where he goes. He might go second round. I mean, he has second round tape. It's more about how the NFL actually feels about him
Right.
as like a person and a worker. And is he really like 380 pounds? You know what I mean? That's the thing. We'll see though. We'll see how that goes with him.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's get to the last pick here. Now, you went. You finally, might make the fans happy here.
Yeah.
With
No,
this
they're gonna
one.
be mad because there's a bunch of 4th-round quarterbacks on the team.
Yeah, I mean, and this guy has some athleticism too. You got a
I like
36-inch vert, right? He's got 36-inch vert. We went Michael Pratt from Tulane.
I like him, man. I like him. I was watching. I forget who it was. Just somebody on YouTube break him down. And it was just like, I don't know. The ball looks good coming out of his hand, and he had sneaky athleticism. I'm just being realistic here. Now, you everyone saw me. I took, I'm down to risk it all for a quarterback in the first round. This isn't what I want the Raiders to do. I'm just giving other scenarios that can happen. And like I said, Pratt, he can move around a little bit. If fans think Minshew's mobile, they're gonna think this guy's like, this guy's like Lamar Jackson. They're going to think that if people think Minshew's mobile. But no, I think he can throw the ball. I think he can make every throw you need him to make. Obviously, he's coming from maybe not the best competition. He's somebody I'd want to stash. I would not want him to start year one. I mean, you just don't want that to happen. But we're allowed to stash 3 quarterbacks on the roster. I think you'd have O'Connell and Minshew get into a camp battle, and then Pratt would be the guy that you would develop within the system. And I think in the 4th round, that's great value. I don't know where he's going to go. I don't hear him talked about in the first 3 rounds, but maybe somebody loves him. Maybe somebody loves him and takes him in the 3rd round, but I couldn't see him be a 2nd rounder. I just don't think that's the case. But okay size. He didn't turn the ball over too much in college, but again, wasn't playing against the best competition. So I'd give him a little time in the system. But no, I think he's a pretty good player. I wouldn't say I'm going to be like, oh, this is my starter for years and years and years, but he's a guy I'd want in the system. And in the 4th round, I've already got my running back, I've already got my interior offensive lineman, and I've already got my corner. Let's go see if we can strike gold here.
Yeah. What I'll say about Pratt is one, you guys are wrong about his noodle arm. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You're wrong. if you think Joe Milton has a big arm, right? He had a faster velocity on his balls than Joe Milton in the Senior Bowl one day. He was throwing the
Pause,
ball
but yeah.
hard. Yeah, pause. But he has a pretty damn good arm. You can even see it when you're watching the Senior Bowl and you're watching it live. His arm's pretty big. It's not. I wouldn't say
Connor Cook. Why do you guys still think about Connor Cook?
Right?
Get that out of your head. Don't ever say
So-
that name again.
The noodle arm thing, I disagree with that because, like I said, it's proof of the pudding. Joe Milton had the fastest one day, and then it was Michael Pratt the next day, and I was like, damn, I didn't really see that on film.
This guy can.
But when you watched it live, he put some velocity on that ball. I mean, he had a pretty good Senior Bowl too. I mean, he didn't really stand out. To me, I think he feels like he uses his legs too much a little bit. But I mean, if this is the guy that you want, everybody wants the guy that can move and that's mobile and it could, maybe run Luke Getsy's offense. He's the guy. I mean, he can run those zone read type of things. I mean, he's athletic enough to do those type of things. So, I mean, nobody ran a 40 at the place, but yeah, but his film is fourth round film. I mean, that's basically what it is. But he does have a big arm. He does. He has a pretty big arm. He's not the most accurate quarterback in the world, but yeah, I don't know what to say about fourth round quarterbacks. It's hard.
No, you don't know. It's just one of those things. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, you didn't take a quarterback. No, he's there. I took him. He can move. Might be a guy in like August in preseason where you're like, whoa, this guy's running all over the place. He's making a few big throws, and it's somebody that you can develop. I always like having a developmental quarterback on the roster. Always a guy that you don't expect to see the first year, but can develop. I mean, we don't know. I'm not saying he's Jordan Love. Jordan Love was a first round pick. I understand the difference, but I like to have a guy who can, if Getsy's, worth a damn, which we don't know yet, but if Getsy's worth a damn, I like to have a guy like that in the system, just kind of developing. And perhaps he's a cool guy. Perhaps he's a good interview. Perhaps he's a good locker room guy. And perhaps the team is excited about him. And that's, again, just posing different scenarios for the team.
Yeah, man. So let's end this. Let's end this, right? And I'm going running back here, guys. So I'm gonna go running back in the fourth round, and I'm going my boy Tyrone Tracy Jr. from Purdue. Now, Tyrone Tracy is somebody I really had no idea who he was before I got into this film process. But when I started watching the film, man, he is really damn good. I think he's dealt with some injuries in his career. I mean, he even got injured this year a little bit, but he is athletic. I mean, not the biggest 44.48, still good that you see that vert. You see the burst he has. You see his outfield burst at 10 yards split. I added that for a reason because it's 1.53. So you kind of see how fast he gets off the football. And what his burst can be like, and he can make people miss like crazy.
Nice.
Plus he can catch too. He can return kicks. There's a lot of value that he has. He can return kicks. He can be your kickoff guy day one. He also can. He's a receiver, but he was a wide receiver before, so he moved to running back from being a wide receiver, so he can catch everything. He catches a lot of balls in traffic. And he can block too. That's the thing that I really like about him. But he's an outside zone guy. Like he runs zone really, really well. That's what he does really the best. He's probably one of the best zone backs in this draft. He always finds the cutback. He always takes the right route. He go outside when you want to go outside. He'll go straight when he needs to go straight. He'll cut back when he needs to cut back. He's a little bit of a stud to me. Like I feel like that, and where he's gonna go, he's gonna be one of those guys where people are like, "Oh, you could draft a running back anywhere," because people didn't know who he was, and he comes to the NFL,
little Pacheco style.
Yeah, type of thing, right? You could draft him anywhere. You can find a running back in any round, but really, the NFL didn't really evaluate him the greatest, right? And a lot of it's because his first year as a starter this year, and he wasn't a big name. He was in an offense that was the air raid offense that they ran over there in Purdue this past year, so they didn't run the ball too much. But you saw when he did run the ball, he had 6.3 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns. I'm not even adding the receptions he had in there, so. I thought he was a definitely a damn good player, man. He's just so smooth, and yeah, he's one of my favorite running backs in this draft. Like I'm really high on him. I think I have him in my top 5. Like he's really damn good. But that's where I think he's gonna go though, because like I said, like the Trey Bensons, the Jalen Wrights, the Jonathan Brooks, the guys who from the kind of the bigger programs, I would say the Blake Corums, even some other running backs, and I can't think off the top of my head. The Georgia guys, they're all going to go before he does, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I think the 4th round, if they want to go running back, because he might even be there in the 5th. But I think that he's just a guy that he's going to, start to eat into Zamir White's carries a little bit if Zamir White doesn't have a breakout season.
And he might not. He might not. We do have
yeah.
to. I think every fan has a bit of skepticism about Zamir White, even if you were okay with Josh Jacobs walking, which I was. It doesn't mean that I think Zamir White is this, amazing every down back. No, it's not that. It's just the fact is, like, let's have a committee over one guy, and that add guys like Tyrone Tracy. I mean, this guy might be your Malcolm Kuntz. You were a Malcolm Kuntz guy a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Look at Malcolm Kuntz now. He's probably going to get an extension from the Raiders.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We'll
running backs, I usually do pretty good with running backs, finding those little diamonds in the roughs. Those the running backs, because I was super high on Cleo Herbert too, but he's a starting running back right now. So, Tyrone Tracy, dude, he just has the vision and everything you want in a zone back. So, like, because I think Zamir White still needs to run power, and I feel like they're gonna try to gravitate towards that. But if you have a zone guy, when they run zone, I think that's where Tracy comes in, or a type of player like that, and he can come in and run those zone looks too. But my other guy is Kendall Milton if they decide they want to, go running back at some point in time. All right, so I mean that's our mock here, guys. I mean, I know some people, they didn't like your last pick there, Glen. With
I know how do you people just are mad about 4th round quarterbacks because like, oh, typical Raiders 4th round quarterback. I'm like, if you get mad about a 4th round quarterback, find God, dude. Like, go do. No, look, I'm posing different scenarios. I like what I saw out of him. I'm not saying he's this and that. Like he's he's the next this guy. No, he's get a developmental guy with an arm, with some arm talent, and put him in the system. See what happens. I like doing that almost every single year. Adding that. So, hey, man, if he's bad, he's bad. I mean, I'm not squatting on that or anything. Like for me, I like Jalen Wright. For me, my real mock, like my dream mock, would be Fuanga at there, maybe like a Kalen King in the 2nd round, and then like Estime or even Jalen Wright in the 3rd round. And in the 4th round, I'm kind of like, dude, start trading those for veterans, dude. Like I'm like at this point, like the Raiders need that. Get some veteran talent.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
If we're gonna pick there, I don't mind taking a big arm quarterback.
See, Isaac Garando is the guy that killed the combine, but his film is weird. That's like the first guy I watched. That was some interesting film. He's just fast. I don't know what that is. He can block though. He can block and catch. I don't know about running the ball though. You just gotta, you'd have to have like a great line or something like that. Same thing with Trey Benson too. I worry about Trey Benson's vision, because the more carries he got, the more his yards per carry went down. So if you went on that, elaborate on Garando. Is this what you're asking me to elaborate on Garando? So I'll elaborate on Garando a little bit. So with him, it's really just he's kind of just all straight line speed. So if you can have a big hole and he can hit it, he can kind of go.
See you later, yeah.
Right, but like other than that, it's like I just wanted to see something. I wanted to see him like fight a hole. I wanted to see him like make somebody miss. I wanted to see something more than him just be explosive. But like I said, he can block his ass off, which is interesting. He would go in there and just knock people's heads off blocking, and he can catch. So he's more like if you brought him in, he's more like a 3rd down, like drop a screen to him, home run hitter type of guy. Like it's 3rd down, let me do like a late screen, and he just go boom and just go right over there. Isaiah Davis, I watched Isaiah Davis a little bit too. Isaiah Davis, he's a little bit, he's okay. He's a pretty good guy. I would just like to see guys like that dominate at their level, and I really didn't see that. That's the thing. I want him to dominate when I watch a guy against South Dakota. You know what I mean? Like if you're playing, if I want to draft you and you're playing FCS football, I want to see you dominate. I want to see you like make guys miss. Everybody's looking silly. You know what I mean? So that's the type of thing that I see with that. What else we got? Any other questions here, guys? I didn't see that many questions today. Milton. I think Terrell Pryor if he was at Tulane. Well, you gotta think Garando. Is he a Brandon Bolden replacement then? I mean, basically, yeah. Because he can block, man. Yeah, exactly. McFadden, basically McFadden. And McFadden couldn't have any wiggle at all. Who did Rock say at second pick? It was Graham Barton.
Duke, interior offensive lineman, guard. Yeah.
Any players you can see us trading away on draft day?
Trading away. That's interesting. Why? Like for what? Like to trade up or something, or trading for a future pick? That's what. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Trading away on draft day.
I don't think so, man.
No, I really don't. Like, I mean, if it would have been like a Hunter Renfrow,
like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, like those guys that are gonna be gone.
Yeah. Let's see. For first round pick.
Let's raw. Let's just. I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah.
Does taking I'll get to this other question in a second. Does taking Penix make right tackle the top priority? Yes, kind of. Yeah. I mean, if that's their plan, right? You need a right tackle. They need a right tackle, anyways. I mean, as much as I like
it already is. It already is because you have Colton Miller.
Yeah. I mean, so even if I like Thayer Mumford and I think he could be a solid right tackle, if they feel like they can upgrade at the position, they should do it. But if they feel like they can't and they know the position and they want to go different positions and they want to roll with there, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Even Dalton Wagner's there, so it's going to be interesting. What about Jordan Travis in the fourth round? Would he go higher without injury? No, I think if he was not injured, he'd go to the fourth round.
I hope you weren't hating on Michael Pratt asking this question. Let's just say that much, because no, thank you.
Jordan Travis he's a funny watch, man. He just sprays the ball over the field.
He's ass.
He just sprays.
Dude, if they had like a good quarterback, they would have like actually won the title. Like truly, like
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is Devontae really gonna be cool with catching passes from AOC or Minshew?
I think he likes Aiden.
I think he likes AOC more than
I think he does.
Fans.
I think he does.
Yeah.
Minshew, I'm not quite sure. I mean, we'll see. Like, I don't know. I don't see him as like hating Gardner Minshew. I don't think Gardner Minshew is Jimmy G. I think he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. But I think Adams is going to be working out of the slot a lot this year. I do. Like, I truly think, which is why in the draft, none of us picked wide receivers. But if they found somebody they could put outside, and then Adams is working out of the slot a lot, I know Tucker is supposed to be that guy. That's fine. I want to work Tucker more. I think he's really good. But there's certain guys there's certain guys, wide receivers in the draft, day 2, where fans might be like, what, a wide receiver? And it's like, but what if Adams is working out of the slot and you have Myers on the other side, and then you find a diamond in the rough there for the outside. It's interesting. What Adams is actually the least talked about thing in this offense, but he's actually one of the guys with familiarity with Getsy. And I think Getsy's going to put him in the slot a lot to get him free releases as he gets older.
Yeah, I mean, even in the Adams interview on the 2 Ps in a pod, he says some good things about O'Connell. I don't think he has any bad thing to say. He even said he could be a starter in the NFL if he's played an easier offense. Because, Erhard Perkins is really tough on a rookie quarterback, man. That's what, if we had CJ Stroud, I mean, I was probably the only guy that I think, that might have ran it pretty well. Just because, just hearing how CJ Stroud, runs the offense. But I think Adams understood how tough that offense was on O'Connell. And if they got an easier offense, I think he thinks he could be a lot better. This is with Gardner Minshew, man. You just know what he is at this point. You know what I mean? He's just a backup.
Agreed.
And,
agreed.
Alec Pierce is happy Gardner Minshew's gone. Let's just say that. Maybe Michael Pittman isn't, but Alec Pierce. So maybe Devontae might like him because he could throw that short pass, but it would just be a waste of Trey Tucker kind of type of thing. I mean, even a little bit with AOC. I mean, AOC, found ways to get the ball to Trey Tucker a little bit. He could throw the ball a little bit farther, but so I don't know. Here's a question: we miss on Daniels and Fields, which QB? It'd probably be I'd take McCarthy if I had a choice.
I can go with any of the top 4. It's just like, are you more? The thing is I don't think any of them are going to fall to 13. Daniel Jeremiah put out the tweet today that he said four quarterbacks are gone in like the top 5 or something. I'm like, if he says it, it's happening, and I'm like, to me, trading up like a future pick with McCarthy. The reason I draft McCarthy is because I want to be able to surround him with things. So if I'm not constantly adding cheap talent around JJ McCarthy, I don't trade up for him. And I understand if you see your guy, you have to go get him. But it's like, if your guy is quarterback 4, I don't know. I don't know. It's a quandary. It's a quandary you're in. This year, I wouldn't mind just stacking up talent. Let everybody else jump and go overpay for quarterbacks and just take what falls to you this year. I'm starting to become that guy.
Yeah. People are asking about receiver, man.
I don't hate it. They need another burner, I think. Tucker is not like, I don't want to just be like, Tucker's the guy. I like Tucker. And look, Darren Waller might retire, so that's like an awesome trade. But shout out Dave Ziegler for that one. But I would like one more burner on this team.
Yeah.
Even if they're a little raw, they don't need to play this year. I just would like one more guy on the roster that can get open deep. Is the quarterback on the roster that can get it to him? We don't know that yet, but I'd like to just stash him on the roster in case we go get somebody later.
People talk about Jeremiah. Jeremiah's wrong a lot. Why do you swear by that guy? What was he wrong about?
What's he wrong?
I mean,
about?
Mock drafts are not. Come on, guys. It's a mock draft. I mean,
he just has the most connections in the league.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it is. He knows what teams might do. Like, not saying he gets his mocks wrong. If you compare his mock, what I mean is he goes off of league buzz.
And guys, we ran Mayock off. Mayock can't come back to TV. So this is all we got.
That's crazy. Why is
Mayock can't come back to TV?
DJ is killing Mike Mayock right now. Like, no, and it's not. It's just like you have to just kind of like, he's kind of a tabloid kind of TMZ kind of guy where it's like, oh, I heard this TMZ report, where you're like, oh man, it ended up being true, like he's kind of one of those guys.
Yeah, and you're right. He was a scout. That's what I'm saying. He's a scout too, guys. Like I trust Jeremiah's evaluations a little bit, even though I don't agree with them all the time, and I think sometimes he just kind of goes with what he's hearing in his evaluations too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So he said he just Zach Wilson breakdown. Now you're getting desperate, bro. We're getting desperate.
You ever seen Clockwork Orange where the guy's eyes are being pried open? Like that.
Even though I think Zach Wilson did look a little bit better last year, but he just had Nathaniel Hackett. I just wouldn't take that chance on that, man. So, all right, thanks, Mr. Spivey. Thanks, you guys.
Shout out.
Oh man. What's up with you and Jeremiah, bro? Who do you like?
Damn.
Who's your guy? Who's your guy, man?
Don't tell me that's like Pete Prisco or something. Like, this guy sound like a Pete Prisco man.
Who is it?
He's not my guy. He's not my guy. It's just look, when you talk to people around the league, they're like, no, everybody waits for DJ's mocks and reacts to them.
Yeah, man.
All of them. He is in
my Zerline. They
all wait for him to say something, and then people work off of his stuff. It's not for no reason.
And let's say, and Mayock can't come back. The Raiders signed him, and then he had the worst drafts, and then, so he can't come back on TV because he was the best one, and now he can't come back. So this is all we got. I don't know.
Can you imagine, like, as a Raider fan watching Mike Mayock break down prospects? You'd be like, "Come on, bro! Like, you stink! Like, you don't know anything." Like, oh man, one of the worst. Might have been one of the worst things he could have ever done.
But Bucky works with DJ. See, I don't love Bucky Brooks, but he works with DJ. You know what I mean? Him and DJ, him and DJ are pretty close together on their thoughts on things. They have a show together. It's called Move the Sticks. You know what I mean?
I like Bucky. So, I like Bucky, yeah, but they're a team. You know what I mean?
I just want to know who's a good draft. Like, they all get it wrong. Like Mel Kiper gets it wrong.
Nobody had Cole Strange getting drafted by the Patriots in the first round. Nobody had that. That's why we like the draft. If we knew the answers, we wouldn't watch.
Yeah, man. But the most cleanest guy was Mike Mayock. But he came in here and he got he can't go on TV no more. So this is all we got.
And by
guys.
the way, anybody that thinks Gruden was calling the shots, I don't want any GM that submits to a coach. So if Gruden's calling the shots, then why did I hire you as a GM? You're a loser. Get out of here. Sorry.
Yeah, man. Chris Sims cracks me up though because
I like Chris Sims. I like that he's different. I like that every time he shocks the world with his quarterback. Drake May quarterback 6, love it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
He was right about Josh Allen though. But he had Josh Allen like I think he was like 1 or 2. He had Josh Allen high, and he's been riding off that forever.
Yeah, and I mean he was right about Justin Fields too.
Yeah,
he was right about Justin Fields. I mean, he had Kellen Mond over him, which
that's that's a tough one. That's just first off. By the way, I want to say one more thing before we go. Anybody who's saying that this is a generational class, you might be right. Right, this quarterback class. That's why you think the Raiders need to get in there, and it's just a complete loss if the Raiders don't get into the top whatever to get a quarterback. And they won too many games last year, which I still don't understand, but they won too many games. 2021, the same thing was said. You had the can't miss guy in Trevor Lawrence, just like you have Caleb Williams this year. Everything that was said about Caleb Williams this year was said about Trevor Lawrence in 2021. Nobody can tell you different. Now we've seen Trevor Lawrence and we don't like him anymore. But for there are some bad. That 2021 class was ass, and not even just like underperforming, but ass. And all I'm saying is like, dude, build a good team, build a good roster. Worry about building a good roster. You will find the right quarterback at some point. It will happen.
Yeah.
Tank for Tua. Remember Tank for Tua. That's everyone. Thank you, Derek. I agree. Tank for Tua. Suck for Luck was a thing. Andrew Luck was a beast. But like Trevor Lawrence, it's like Trevor Lawrence has flaws. You watch Trevor Lawrence, it's not a perfect quarterback that you're watching. Like those guys are true unicorns. They don't come out every year.
So, because I mean, if you talk about the 2025 draft class, I always find it interesting, like, the 2025 draft class sucks. But to me, there's a 6'4", 240-pound guy at Houston named Donovan Smith. And I was watching Patrick Paul, the right tackle, and this dude can move, and he was throwing on the run, and he has a cannon. And it's just guys like that, Oklahoma and Texas are leaving the Big 12, and he just has a huge year in the Big 12, and all of a sudden, this is such a great draft class. Because one, Carson Beck is a damn stud. I haven't watched Shedeur Sanders.
I like Carson Beck too.
But I mean, as Shedeur Sanders is that type of guy, but Carson Beck is a stud.
He looks like an underground rapper. That's why I like him.
Does he? I haven't seen him. I gotta
if you look at him, he looks like he's just like the rap show handing out mixtapes. I don't know. For some reason, I like that look. It's sick. By the way,
stud, bro.
Somebody said loving the Minshew look for me, but you don't look high enough. Joke's on you. I am. I'm higher than him right now. I'll tell you that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Gardner Minshew got a dab rig for sure. So yeah, he probably does. But yeah.
So because even Carson, I don't know, Carson Beck. The more I watch him, because I'm watching all these Georgia guys, and I keep watching it. And every time he makes a throw, I'm like, God damn! And then he'll like run for a first down, or he'll like make some kind of play. I'm like, are you sure you wouldn't have went 2 in this draft? Why didn't you come out? Because if he would have came out, we had a chance at Daniels. I'll say that the Raiders would have had a chance at Daniels like way further than they have right now if he comes out. If he came out, because I really feel like that, just because he's like he's a pocket passer with athleticism. That you could do basically what the NFL really wants right now is Carson Beck. So he basically knows that he's going to go back to Georgia and he's going to go number 1 because he's a stud, bro. He's a damn stud. Anything else? Any other questions? Is Jalen Monroe, all those guys? I don't know. I'm saying the quarterback class might not be too bad next year, but we'll see what the Raiders do. The Raiders might shock us. They might just find a way to get up to 3.
We pretend to know. We have no idea, and it's why we keep watching. This is all speculation. This is all fun. It's all fun stuff. The Raiders might do something. We're used to the Raiders shocking us in a bad way. Maybe they shock us in a good way this year.
Yeah. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We almost had 300 in here today, man. This is awesome. This is like an instant reaction.
The chat
was active. They're yelling at us. We had a Daniel Jeremiah debate. We're talking about different things.
The Daniel Jeremiah is the most shocking thing in the world. I've seen. People hate him. Dude, the guy's like, it seems like one of the nicest guys ever, too. If you look at it, he seems so cool. Appalachian State, dude, like just cool
man.
guy. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love DT, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Anyways, all right, guys, we're out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Peace.
Yeah. Peace, guys. And the show's